I hope you have heard me. I hope I'm not making this in vain. I had my microphone on mute. I wonder if you heard me. Wow. I may have to do this all over. Help me, Lord. I'm going to go on. I may have to record it again. Sorry about that. Wow, I hope this recorded. Mm, 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 mm. Well, I got to keep going. I'm going to have to trust. Okay, so it says the purpose of the world is to see, the purpose of the world, you see, is to obscure your function of forgiveness. So the purpose of this natural world is what? To make unclear our function of forgiveness and provide us with justification for forgetting it. So the world is designed for you to forget. It's designed to what? Take your attention so you can forget what your true purpose, your true function. Yes, the world itself will what? It will consume your attention and your energy and your focus to the point that you forget who you are. It will redefine you if you allow it. So the purpose of the world, that's the purpose of the world, from which what? For what we made it by creating all of the distractions. But God would never create something to distract you from reality. That would be ludicrous. So it would have to be something that we made that is not in harmony with what? The will of God. So what am I saying? If the physical world is not in harmony with the will of God, no, what I'm saying is this world or anything and everything has been reconciled for the purposes of God. So it can be used, but even though it's a temporary expression. So it says, it is the temptation to abandon God and his son, which is us, by taking on a physical appearance. So in other words, we can get so caught up into this body identification that we are, what our parents provided, which is temporary, that we forget about what? The eternal. We forget about what? The unlimited. We forget about what? That which is true. Because we get so caught up in what? That which is what? Temporary, that which is uh, limited, that which is not real. The body is not real. We get caught up in our body identification, our persona, our personality, to the point that what? We forget about who we really are as eternal beings. It said, it is this the body eyes look upon. It is this idea of separation that the body eyes look upon. It says, nothing the body eye seems to see can be anything but a form of temptation. Everything that we see with the natural eye is a form of temptation. What's the temptation? The temptation is what? The temptation for us to look at that which is what? Not real. And move forward as though it is, to the point that we lose sight which is real. That's the temptation. Lead us not into temptation. Help me to what? Keep my eyes focused, my mind focused, my energy focused on the real you, the true self, on my eternal self. It says, it says, nothing the body eye seems to see can be anything but a form of temptation. since this was the purpose of the body itself. The purpose of the body is to be a form of temptation. We created the body as a hiding place from reality. We created this world as a place to hide from God. That is the collective purpose. This is advanced spirituality now. We're not talking about elementary stuff. I'm trying to bring you to the awareness of what's really going on here. We did this. We took the intelligence of God and we did this because we thought we separated from him. The Adam and Eve story in the garden, that's what it's talking about. The prodigal son story, that's what it's all about. All of the stories. All of the metaphors, the parables in the Bible, they're all trying to teach you something of a grander understanding, but we just see it as parables because our eyes don't see, our ears don't hear, and our heart don't understand because we're not willing to open ourselves up to this to this knowing. We're still focusing on trying to develop this person, this temporary person. It says, yet we have learned that the Holy Spirit, or that the Spirit of God, or that the voice of God has another use for all the illusions you have made. And therefore, the Spirit of God, or the Spirit of truth, or reality sees another purpose in them. So even though we made temptation, love can take the temptation that we made and give it a righteous purpose. He can use it to help wake us up. So God uses it, the content of our life. God uses our relationships. God uses our careers. God uses our desires and want. God uses every single solitary thing that we have made as a distraction. He can use them, and he converts them into usefulness to help us to wake up, to help us to help us to come to a place of knowing. He takes the foolish things that we've made and he converts them into useful tools to help wake us up. Isn't that amazing? Everything is useful. Every part of your life is useful. Your entire experience is useful to reality, to teach you, to bring you to a place of awareness and advanced understanding, to bring you to a place of knowing. You can use it all. So all of your life has really been good. Even the bad, dark times, God uses them. The Spirit knows how to use them, to teach you a lesson. To teach you a lesson. It says, to the Holy Spirit, the world is a place where you learn to forgive yourself. What you think of as your sins. So God uses the world to teach us to forgive ourselves of what we think we've done wrong. Because at some point, all of us thought we'd done wrong because we were told we was done wrong. Our parents told us we done wrong. Our teachers told us we done wrong. The government told us we done wrong. Our neighbors told us we were wrong. Our friends told us we were wrong. But God even takes that to teach us a lesson in forgiveness, to forgive ourselves, to forgive the world, to forgive our teachers, to forgive our mothers and parents and friends and girlfriends and wives and husbands and children, to forgive the entire world. Why? Because the world is not real. So we forgive it. We give it up. We give up the idea that it was real for the idea that it is not. It's a shift in our way we see things. The world doesn't have to change. It's just a change in our perception. That is the miracle. We give up the idea of guilt, sin, and fear, that we hadn't done anything, that we're innocent, and we embrace our innocence. That's the shift. That's your salvation. That's the salvation of the world. It's just that simple. But we can live lifetime after lifetime. We can go through drama after drama addiction after addiction, one religion to another. It doesn't matter. Move from one country to another. We even try to run into space because we feel like, well, the earth ain't the place. So we're going to go up into space. Well, guess what happens when you go into space? You will be there and your thinking will be there. So you carry what the same thought of separation into space. And you still won't have any peace. At the billions and billions of dollars you spent to get into space. Everybody said space is the next frontier. And so again, we're running from the truth. We're running from God. Adam, where are you? I'm in space. But wherever you make your bed, God says, well, I'll be there. If you make your bed in hell, I'll be there. Why? We can't escape God. We are God. You can't get away from yourself. He said, in this perception, we're innocent. When we exchange guilt for innocence and the perception of innocence, which we are, it says the physical appearance of temptation becomes what? The spiritual recognition of our salvation. In your innocence is your salvation. So to call yourself guilty, that is your what? That is not your salvation. That is your what? That is your imprisonment. See, we've been imprisoned by the idea that we're guilty. We've been imprisoned by the idea that we're what? We're fearful, that we're not complete, we're not whole. There's something wrong with us. We've been imprisoned in our thinking. But in reality, what? We're not guilty. We're innocent. It says, so it says, to review our last few lessons, this is a review of our last two lessons. It says, our function here is to be the light of the world. You are the light of the world. I am the light of the world. We are the portal by which reality shines continuously in this world of darkness to bring what? Light and illumination and luminosity to a world of darkness. It is expressed through us. That's what these bodies' real purpose is. It's not who we are. It's like your car. Your car is not who you are. Your car purpose is what? To get you from one place to another. Your body is for what? It is for you to what? To be known as the light of the world. Because what? Your body will what? Be a natural pointing for others in darkness to be able to see what is real through your life. It's a way to express your what? True nature. It says, so the function here is to be the light of the world. And this function is given to you by God. This is who you are. Your creator decided what you were going to be before he created you. And he decided that you are light, just like he is. You can't be anything else. You can live a million lifetimes, taking on a million different roles. You could be a lawyer, a judge, a beggar, a drug addict, a preacher, a teacher, a swimmer, a basketball player, whatever role you play in that lifetime. It does not change your true nature. It does not change who you really are. That's just what the role you chose to cast yourself in. But who you really are is light of the world. You are the infinite intelligence of God. You are the all in all. That's who you are. That's your function. And to forget our function is to forget who we are. That's why this idea today, let me not forget my function. Because to forget it, it's going to have a what? It's going to have a what? It's going to have some fallout. When we forget something, there's a fallout from forgetting. It's going to share with us what the fallout is. It says, the function given to us by God. It is It says, it is only the arrogance of the ego that lead us to question this. It is only the self we made that would question the function God gave us, the arrogance of the ego, the ego self. No, I'm not the light of the world. I'm just this, I'm just that. And we start naming these labels. We do it every day. We say, I am this, I'm broke, I'm sick, I'm black, I'm white, I'm Democrat, I'm Republican. We do all this, we do it all the time. We're denying who we are. It's arrogance. Instead of saying, I am that I am. But see, in the world, they say, well, that's you arrogant. Who you think you are, God? Yes. And see, we're afraid of that. But that's your reality. I am that I am. That's what God said when he sent Moses to save the children of Israel from a Pharaoh. He said, tell them that I am sent you. He didn't only send Moses, but he sent the I am. That's why Moses was successful in doing what he needed to do. Because I am sent him. Reality will always win out over unreality. Love will always win out over hate. You just have to wait around for a while if it doesn't seem to be winning right now. But just wait around. Just wait around for a minute. It's only temporary. It says it is only arrogance of the ego that leads us to question our function. And only the fear of the ego that induces us to regard ourselves as unworthy of the task assigned to us by God himself. So it is our false self that tells us this is not true. It's our false self that tells us you're arrogant. It's our false self that uses fear to say that we're not worthy of this assignment, that we're not worthy of this function of being the light of the world. We hear that all the time. That's that inner critic, that inner voice we hear. And we think it's real, and we listen to it, and we believe it. See, that's all part of the game. That's all part of the ego's game, is to keep the ego lie going by keeping you in fear, keeping you in guilt, keeping you in sin consciousness, so that you don't feel worthy of any noble function in the world. And you are of nobility. You are the noble one. You have a noble assignment. You have a noble purpose. And God entrusted all of us with this. He says, the world's salvation, okay, so now the world's brand of salvation awaits your forgiveness. So the world needs to be forgiven for the illusion that they have been imprisoned by. They need your forgiveness. Why and how can you forgive? They asked Jesus the same way. How can you forgive? You're not God. Well, you can forgive because you are. You are of the God kind. You're God's creation. You have the power to forgive. He said the power to forgive has been given to the Son of God. You are the son and daughter of God. So you can forgive the world. It says the world waits on your forgiveness. It says, because through your forgiveness does the Son of God itself escape from all illusion and thus from all temptation. The Son of God is you. Your salvation is in your forgiving of the world. The world's salvation is in your forgiving of the world. When you forgive yourself, when you forgive the world, you forgive all humanity. All humanity is set free. They may not know it, but they are. But what's important is that because you have forgiven yourself, you have set yourself free. Because you have forgiven the world, you have set the world free. Because you have forgiven your brother, you have set your brother free. If you're still holding something against your brother because of what they did or didn't do, and you withhold your love, oh God, I hear it, I see it, oh, I feel it too. You're withholding your own self. You're withholding your own self. You're withholding your own self. Boop. When you withhold mercy, when you withhold your grace, when you withhold your love, you're withholding it from yourself. When you just hold it from your brother, you hold it from yourself. All these children and grandparents and parents and innocent people and people that can't defend themselves militarily are crying out in this very moment to a nation, to a leader, have mercy on us. And he's not having mercy. He's increased the intensity of the invasion, of the pounding of this country. Can you imagine what he's feeling, what he's experiencing? Can you imagine the fruit of that? Unless he shifts himself, unless he make a shift. He's feeling that even now. So we pray that he would open up his heart and let love shine. Does he just because why are you attacking your brothers like that? You have to be in a dark place to do that. He's in a dark place. But that's not for us to judge him into damnation, but it's for us to hold a space for that leader to say, hey man, that prodigal, get back on their own ramp. Save yourself. To save himself. Is to forgive and to let that go. Only by fulfilling the function given you by God will you be happy. That's the fallout. Your happiness or your unhappiness. Only by what? Fulfilling the function that God gave you of forgiveness will you be happy. You've been looking for happiness? It is in your purpose. It is in your being. It is in yourself. It's not out there. It's not in anything that you can acquire. It's not in any activity that you can achieve. Real, lasting, eternal happiness is within what? Your forgiveness. It's within your fulfilling your purpose. It's within you what? Saying, yes, I am the light of the world. That's where it is. That's where it's always been. And so that is because your function is to be happy by using means by which happiness becomes inevitable. What's the means by which happiness becomes inevitable? Your forgiveness. There is no other way. It's not unambiguous. It's the only way for us to recognize the truth. That's where our happiness is. It's in the recognition of the truth. It's in the recognition of our function. It's in the recognition of our what? It's in the recognition of our knowing. Happiness is in the knowing of the self. And knowing of the self is to know that what we're the light of the world. And to know that our means to function as the light of the world is through our forgiveness. Forgiving of ourselves, forgiving of everyone. Total forgiveness, as though it's not happened. That's God's brand of forgiveness. This is where God's happiness lies. That's where he put it. It's not in the trinkets, not in the toys, not in the relationships. It's in you functioning according to what? Your purpose. He purposed it in himself before the foundation of the world, that we should be what? Holy and without blame before you in love. There it is. Jesus demonstrated this forgiveness with his what? Entire life. He demonstrated this forgiveness with his entire life. It wasn't a requirement. It was something he wanted to do. And it's not a requirement of you. It's something that you should want to do. It's something that you should want to do. When you understand who you are, you should want to forgive. You should want to let your light shine. Because without your light shining, there is no glory. And we say, oh, God gets all the glory. No, he doesn't. God gets no glory if it's not glorified in you. God gets no glory if it's not glorified in you. The glory was given to you, to the praise of his glory. Ephesians 1. You have been what? Created to do what? praise of his glory. What is the praise of God's glory? When you walk as the light of the world. When you forgive, that's the praise of his glory. So if you want to give God some glory, embrace it being the light of the world. Embrace forgiveness. That's giving God glory. Not you throwing up your hand and hollering, then going off and living like a rascal. That's not no glory. And we give our tithes and offerings and terumas and all this giving. Then we go off and live like a rascal. That's not giving God glory. And we still holding grudges. We still holding grievances against people. That's not giving God glory. That's not giving God glory. To give God glory is is for you to be glorified in your reality as the light of the world. And to function by forgiving the world. That's the greatest glory you can give to yourself and to your creator. You heard it right here on Truly Foundation. Lesson 64 of A Course in Miracle workbook. I just revealed it to you. That's advanced spirituality. Have you heard it like that before? No. We say no, God gets the glory. Okay. How did that make you feel? You and a husband and wife, and a wife relationship, and only person in the relationship is happy is your husband, and you're not. That's saying the same thing. Oh, only my husband gets the glory. Only my wife gets the glory. Well, that's not equality. But God, the only one gets glory. That's not equality. We the one came up with that. We came up with that inequality. That God gets the only one gets the glory. We came up with that inequality. It don't make us feel good. We run out and try to find glory in the world because God gets all of the glory, so I got to go find me some. That's all part of the lie. On the beginning of this tape, I hope I was not muted to the point where you couldn't hear, because that means I'm gonna have to do this over again. I don't think I can say it like I'm saying it this time, but I will if I have to. Oh, Jesus. There is no other way. Therefore, every time you choose whether or not to fulfill your function, you are really choosing whether or not to be happy. So happiness is a choice. It's a decision. You either decide to be who you are, or you decide to not be who you are. You either decide to be happy, or you decide to be unhappy. It's a decision that you're making. It has nothing to do with conditions or circumstances or situations, or how much money you got in the bank, or what your husband are doing, the children are doing, what the world is doing. It has to do with your decision to be the self that you are, to be the God that you are, to be the light that you are. Let us remember this today. Let us remind ourselves of it in the morning and again at night and all through the day as well. Prepare yourself in advance for all the decisions you will make today by remembering they are all really very simple. All decisions are simple. I am the light of the world. I choose to forgive. Simple. It is simple. We complicate things. God is very simple. He says each one will lead to happiness or unhappiness. Each decision will lead to happiness or unhappiness. It says, can such a simple decision really be difficult to make? Let not the form of the decision deceive you. Complexity, complexity. The ego is complex. It wants to complex and perplex you. It says complexity of form does not imply complexity of content. In other words, the cover of the book don't describe the book. It is the content of the book. The color of the skin don't describe the value. The content of the is the content, it's the nature of the person, your nationality, your what group you belong to, your gender, who you love and how you love. That's all what that's all form. We look at the form. We look at what we can see with our natural eye. But it says the content is what determines what is the real content of it. Are we what? The light? Are we forgiving? That is the content. That what determines our happiness, not the form. It says it is impossible that any decision on earth can have a content different from just this one simple choice. That is the only choice that reality sees. Therefore, it is the only choice there is. So today, then, let us practice with these thoughts. Let me not forget my function. Let me not try to substitute mine for God's. Let me not forget. Let me forgive and be happy. Let me forgive and be happy. That should be our mantra for life. Let me forgive and be happy. Some of us, we will fight tooth and nail to be right and be so unhappy. No, forgive and be happy. It's just that simple. At least once devote 10 or 15 minutes today to reflecting on this with closed eyes. Related thoughts will come to help you if you remember the crucial importance of your function to you and to the world. In the frequent application of today's ideas throughout the day, devote several minutes to reviewing these thoughts and then thinking about them and thinking about nothing else. So put your focus on these two thoughts. This will be difficult at first, particularly since you are not proficient in the mind discipline that is required. And that's what we're doing. We're disciplining our mind to think in alignment with what is true, what is real. You may need to repeat, let me not forget my function quite often to help you concentrate. So we're disciplining our concentration, our focus, what we're thinking about. It says 2 forms of shorter practice periods are required. At times, do the exercises with your eyes closed, trying to concentrate on the thoughts you are using. At other times, keep your eyes open after reviewing the thoughts and then look slowly and unselectively around you, and whatever you see, tell yourself in everything you see, this is the world. It is my function to save through my forgiveness. That's it. It's simple. It is simple. I spent a little over an hour kind of, set the foundation. But in reality, simply, I could have said, this is the world. It is my function to save through my forgiveness. That is the lesson. And I know this because I'm the light of the world. So I'm certain about who I am, and I'm certain about what I'm here for. You cannot be more certain about who you are and your function in life than what we just explained in this lesson. That is where your happiness lies. If you ever thought that happiness was something that you could not attain, it was there all the time. It's right there in your purview. It's right there in your in your ability to in your ability to function and to experience it directly. So start this very moment. From this day forward, you know who you are and what your purpose is. We can close the book. We don't have to do any more of these lessons. You get that? If you get those two, life becomes so simple. Thank you so much for listening to this guide on the side. I had so much fun doing this because I am growing, I'm advancing, I'm learning along with you. I'm not something special. I don't get any exception because I'm sitting on this side of the camera. I have to be and do and give and study and forgive just like you. I'm no different. We're brothers. We're equal. Thank you so much. I love you. Namaste. Have a great day.